Hi, it's Dr. Z. In this video, I will review theories of development. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development, Lev Vygotsky's sociocultural theory of development, and Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development. Please feel free to pause the video at any time to take notes. If you could write the story of your life, how would it start? And how's it going? How will your story culminate? Development covers the entire lifespan from birth to death. The process of human growth and development consists of physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional processes. The TV show Modern Family provides excellent examples of individuals at different stages in life. We will use the characters of this TV show throughout this video to illustrate different theories of development. Jean Piaget, shown here on the far right, was a Swiss psychologist whose contribution to psychology was in the field of cognitive development. Piaget was inspired by his work in France with Alfred Binet. Alfred Binet co-developed the first reliable intelligence test to determine which children needed additional academic support. Piaget wanted to better understand how children's minds developed, and he returned to Switzerland to continue his research. During this time, Piaget married and had 3 children. With the help of his wife, Valentine, he observed the intellectual development of his own children and subjected them to various experiments that really informed his theory of cognitive development. Cognitive is a fancy word for thoughts or thinking. This photo of Manny from Modern Family shows him thinking deeply about his situation. Piaget's theory of cognitive development has 4 stages. His theory is based on the concept of schemes or schemata. Schemes are considered the framework for information and provide a structure for understanding it. My son Benjamin learned that a doggy was a furry animal with 4 legs and a tail. This was his schemata for what a dog looked like. When he saw a horse for the first time, Benjamin happily referred to it as a doggy. And he was confused when I informed him that that doggy was really a horse. Let's review the 4 stages of this theory. The first stage is sensory motor, which covers birth to 2 years old. This photo of baby Lily and her dad Cameron is an example of this stage. Sensory motor can be separated in 2 parts: senses and motor skills. Have you ever seen a baby grab something and immediately put it into their mouth? A baby is only capable of learning about the world around them by using their primary senses, which is taste and touch. Infants and toddlers love touching and pulling on things. I used to wear necklaces before our son Benjamin was born. However, when he was a toddler, he would just pull and break all my necklaces all the time. He did not understand that pulling the necklace would break it or hurt mommy. In this case, the child perceives and manipulates objects, but does not reason or understand the consequences. Now, have you ever played peekaboo with a baby? Babies are so surprised when you reappear after hiding your face behind your hands. For babies at this stage, they do not understand that objects continue to exist even if they're hidden temporarily. This concept is called object permanence. When playing peekaboo, a child really thinks that you've disappeared behind your hands like magic. When Benjamin was 18 months old, he loved playing with the TV remote control. Since I did not want him to break it, I would hide the remote control behind my back. He would literally watch me put it behind my back. But because he did not have object permanence yet, Benjamin would look all around the couch and family room trying to find that silly remote control. By the time he was 2 years old, however, Benjamin had acquired object permanence, and I could no longer hide the remote control while he watched me. The second stage is pre-operational, which is between 2 and 7 years old. Starting at the age of 2, children are starting to learn that objects and events can be represented mentally with words and images. The earlier example about Benjamin's schemata about what a dog looks like is an example of this mental representation. Children in this stage also engage in imaginary play, where they like to dress up as their parents, favorite superheroes, or even movie characters. In essence, children are playing pretend. In this scene from Modern Family, Lily received a diamond ring from a classmate because he liked her. When Lily offered to sell her diamond ring, her father Mitchell told her the ring was candy. Well, Lily's response is priceless. She really thought the ring was real and is truly upset when she finds out otherwise. Children also exhibit egocentrism. Every item, object, or toy belongs to them and no one else. Children have difficulty sharing because it's all about them at this stage. I remember when I gave Benjamin a glass of water in his own cup, and he just refused to take it because he wanted my glass of water instead. The terrible twos are real, my friends. The term terrible twos is rooted in the transition from the sensory motor stage into pre-operational stages egocentrism. Although I must admit, Benjamin really had terrible threes, meaning egocentrism started later for him. Finally, children lack the concept of conservation, which is the understanding that objects retain their mass and volume even if the shape is modified. For example, when Benjamin was around 3 to 4 years old, he wanted 2 cookies for dessert, and I really wanted him to have only one. So, right in front of him, I took 1 cookie and broke it in half to have 2 cookies. Benjamin was a happy little camper that he got his 2 cookies. He did not understand conservation yet. Fun observation. Younger siblings may figure out conservation at earlier ages because they will have learned from watching older siblings, or have an older sibling that understands conservation and speaks up on their behalf. The third stage is concrete operational, which is between 7 and 11 years old. Children can order and classify items. This photo is an example of Benjamin ordering the objects in our coffee table ottoman. He lined up all the Pez dispensers and the remote controls in order of size, and then grouped the 3 pads of paper with a pen. Benjamin did this 2 weeks before his 7th birthday. During this stage, children can think logically in real situations, such as understanding mathematical operations. They can explain how to play a card game like Uno, as long as they have the card game in front of them to physically show you the rules. As such, children understand the concept of conservation by this age. However, though, they're very logical and rational, so children cannot apply logic to hypothetical situations. If you ask them what 3 things they would want if stranded on a desert island, most will identify items that they would have fun with, like a video game console, a TV, or a bike. They would not consider that a deserted island would not have access to electricity or necessities like food and water. The 4th stage is formal operational, which is between the ages of 11 to 15. Piaget believed that children develop hypothetico-deductive reasoning. This is a fancy term for making deductions or conclusions in hypothetical situations. Basically, children can apply logical thought to abstract situations, kind of like Sherlock Holmes makes deductions to solve the mystery. Piaget theorized that once formal operational thinking was developed at this age, this type of thinking will extend into adulthood and beyond. However, critics of Piaget's theory provide examples of grown adults who appear to not have reached this final stage of cognitive development, and yet these very same adults still have able contributions to society. Additionally, the egocentrism of the pre-operational stage, remember those terrible twos? Well, it returns in the form of adolescent egocentrism. The imaginary audience is where teenagers believe they're always on stage and they're the center of attention. This quote-unquote audience consists of admirers and critics that exist only in their imagination, such that teenagers will think everyone is talking about them, both good and bad. The personal fable involves teenagers having an exaggerated sense of personal uniqueness and indestructibility. This photo of Haley from Modern Family being arrested for underage drinking is an example of thinking that nothing bad will happen if they break the law. There is a feeling of invincibility at this age, where teenagers will do stupid things like drink and drive or try psychoactive drugs without understanding the potential consequences of their decisions. Lev Vygotsky was a Russian psychologist who wanted to expand Piaget's work on cognitive development. He felt that language and how children interacted with their social environment was a critical factor. In this scene from Modern Family, Manny is celebrating his birthday with his family. Manny is also having an existential crisis because he's getting older. And, well, his entire family gets upset with each other in the process of arriving at his birthday dinner. In his speech, Manny shares how each of his family members have contributed to his life and shown him that he has enough time to act like a kid. Vygotsky developed his sociocultural theory of cognitive development. He emphasized that the child's social interactions and its environment enhance the growth of cognitive development. Specifically, he believed that language was the foundation for social interaction and thought. In this photo from Modern Family, Manny is learning to ride a bike with his stepdad, Jay. Jay is talking to Manny and giving him instruction on how to balance and pedal the bike. Without language, it'd be extremely difficult for Manny to develop the skill of riding a bike. Vygotsky's theory has two key concepts to explain the importance of language and social interaction. Private speech is talking to oneself as a way to verbalize problem solving. It is normal to talk to yourself as you're working through a difficult problem or making a decision. Children often count out loud as they start learning addition and subtraction. Unfortunately, as students move beyond elementary school, our school system discourages talking out loud in class while working on assignments. For this course, however, I totally endorse talking to yourself during exams to help you problem solve. In the construction of a building, scaffolding serves as a temporary support for workers and material to finish the building. Similarly, in Vygotsky's theory, an adult adjusts the quality and degree of instruction to fit a child's current ability. Often, scaffolding involves breaking down a larger problem into smaller parts or steps and teaching students the individual steps first, and then asking them to solve the problem on their own. In Modern Family, Cameron is supporting Lily's gymnastics by teaching her individual parts of her routine, like a spin in the top photo, and then eventually putting it together for a Beyoncé move in the bottom photo. Lawrence Kohlberg was an American psychologist who wanted to expand Piaget's work into the exploration of moral development. He developed a series of moral dilemmas and asked boys between 10 to 16 years old for their responses. He followed this sample longitudinally and interviewed them at 3-year intervals for 20 years to see the development of their responses. Kohlberg was not interested in whether the child answered yes or no to the dilemma, but rather the reasoning behind the answer. His most famous dilemma is called the Heinz dilemma. In this scenario, Heinz is unable to afford the medication needed to keep his wife alive. So Heinz stole the drug for his wife. Kohlberg asked the children, should Heinz have done that? Kohlberg's theory of moral development was an assessment of moral reasoning to the Heinz dilemma and other hypothetical moral dilemmas. Kohlberg's theory has 3 levels of moral development. In this photo from Modern Family, Cameron is dealing with a moral dilemma and eventually steals a fraternity's mascot, a goat, as part of a prank. The first level is pre-conventional. This level is based on consequences. In this level, Heinz would not steal the medication because he does not want to get in trouble. Or it is considered the right thing to not steal the medication. In other words, this stage is all about avoiding punishment or getting rewarded for your moral decisions. The second level is conventional. This level is based on the internalization of others' standards. In the Heinz dilemma, he would not steal the medication because he wants to be a good person to his family, or he wouldn't steal because stealing breaks the law. This level is all about how others would view the person's moral actions. The third level is post-conventional. This level is based on personal moral standards. The person has developed their own individual moral code independent of what their family or society would think. At this level, Heinz has 2 options. Option 1, Heinz would not steal the medication because he himself has decided that stealing is not something he would do. Option 2, Heinz would decide to steal the medication because his wife's life is more important than following the law. If you were Heinz, what would you do in this moral dilemma? In summary, the process of development is all-encompassing, from birth to death. The theories of Piaget, Vygotsky, and Kohlberg have contributed much to the understanding of development across the lifespan.